I don't want to burst your bubble, but setbacks, frustrations, they're an inevitable part of business development, entrepreneurship, and personal development. As Michael Caine says in Batman, why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves back up again. So when you face setbacks, how do you overcome them? In this video, I want to talk about 3 different ways that you can overcome your setbacks and how you can use them to propel you forward rather than have them hold you back. I'm Patrick Menefee. I'm a mindset and success coach, and my entire job with this channel and with all of my businesses is to help you become a more fulfilled, intentional, and successful human being. Now, the videos on this channel come out every single Monday, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when they come out. And if you want more, I've got a newsletter that comes out every other week, Menefee's Monday Motivator. Click the link in the description to subscribe. Now let's talk about setbacks. We get frustrated, we get dealt a bad hand, we deal with something that comes up in our business, in our life, gets smacked in the face, someone quits unexpectedly, we have a major expense that we didn't anticipate, we lose a client, whatever happens. What do you do about it? These 3 things, if you put these into practice, they'll at least help you turn it from a negative into a neutral and hopefully into a positive. First thing that you've got to do is stop, take a breath, just pause for a minute. A lot of times when a negative situation blindsides us especially, the stress causes fight or flight to kick in. And when fight or flight kicks in, all of a sudden our ability to analyze and our ability to process more effectively is diminished. Now I can already hear myself and a lot of you saying, but Patrick, I operate at my best when I'm stressed. And a lot of times for entrepreneurs, we feel like we operate the best when our back's up against the wall because we're forced in a particular direction. As a physiological fact, our brains, they're wired very differently when we're introduced to stress and when we're at high levels of stress on a regular basis. And it changes the way that we analyze, it changes the way that we make rational decisions in a lot of cases. When you slow down and take a step back, you no longer immediately react with anger or whatever the negative reaction is. You're able to calmly, smoothly start to process the situation a little bit differently. And that allows you to do number 2, which is dig deeper to the core of the issue. A lot of times when a negative situation happens, maybe you lose a client or you've got someone that was on the hook that you thought was going to be great, and then they end up signing with someone else or they don't go with you. And you start beating yourself up and you think about the sales process and how you messed up the sales prospect and you messed up your follow-up and you messed up all these things. But you've got to spend some time peeling back the onion a little bit. When you dig a little bit deeper, maybe you find that the top of the funnel was the problem because this person was never the right person to start with. They should have never been a lead in the first place. And then you realize that instead of it being a personal problem where I'm the one that failed and now I beat myself up and tell myself the story, you realize, actually, I need to change and get more clear on my target client. I need to get more clear on how I attract the right people and who the right people are. And if I do that, then this would have been smooth sailing because they would have been the right person from the start. When we slow down and we actually think about the root cause of what's going on, everything starts to improve because we're no longer addressing symptoms. When we only address symptoms, the problem is going to pop back up again and again and again and again and again. If you never address the fact that your pipeline is poor and you've got the wrong people coming in, you're going to run into the same problem. No matter how good your elevator pitch is, no matter how good your close is, if you have the wrong people, it's not going to work. You've got to get to the root of the issue. Now, the third way to deal with frustration and setbacks, this is the one that's going to be the most uncomfortable. You've got to ask for help. I know that for a lot of us, hard-charging individuals who think we have all the answers, humbling ourselves and saying, I don't know something or I need help with something, it's challenging. It feels like a hit to our ego. It feels like we're doing something wrong. It feels like we failed if we ask for help. But in all reality, help is exactly what's needed to take you to the next level and to help you overcome a frustration or setback. You can sit there and you can process it yourself and you can beat yourself up. And maybe you don't see the root cause, going back to number 2. Maybe you can't see that because you're blind to it. You're too deep in the mud to figure out what the actual problem is. When you pull back and you ask for help, now someone else can see something that you may not be able to see. They can provide expertise that you don't have. And in that moment, that's what you need a lot of times. When we get punched in the mouth, you've got to have someone to back you up a little bit. It's so easy to internalize it. It's so easy, especially as hard-charging individuals and as entrepreneurs, it's so easy to dive in and say, I got to figure this out myself because who am I if I don't? And then we start going down a rabbit hole and we start telling ourselves stories and we start beating ourselves up even harder and harder, and it makes everything worse. Instead, go talk to a friend, someone else in the industry, someone else that's a fellow business owner. Go talk to a mentor. Go talk to your coach. If you don't have a coach or a mentor or someone that you can talk to, reach out. Love to have a conversation and figure out how I can help you out or how the community that we have can help you out. But get with someone that can help you out, can help you move forward. Ideally, do it in a way that you continually are working with someone. You continually have a mastermind community around you. You continually have the community that can help you move forward. And you continually have a coach or a mentor that can do the same thing. Because when you ask for help, and then you receive that help, that's the last part of it. You have to receive the help that someone is wanting to give you. Then you can actually make the change. You can actually make the difference. So number 1, slow down, take a breath, process, allow yourself to be rational again. Number 2, get past the symptoms and get to the root of the problem. And number 3, ask for help. It doesn't mean that you failed. Doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Doesn't mean that you're not capable of building the great business and the great life that you want. You're simply a human being asking for help. Ask for help. It's not that bad. My encouragement to you is next time you experience a setback, which is, again, inevitable, think about these 3 tips and start putting even just one of them into practice. Start with just one, see where it takes you. I look forward to seeing you guys next week.